Sometimes there's a mech out there that's a pretty solid chassis. The Shadowcat is one of those mechs. Its prime configuration also isn't bad, but we're gonna reprime it. Why? Because I want to. It's what I do. I prefer survivability when I do customized builds, and I'm a big fan of PPCs, so I figure let's make a bigger version of the adder in the form of a Shadowcat Reprime, so that's exactly what I did. Welcome everybody, I'm James, this is Mechanical Mayhem, and welcome back to the Mech Lab. So, we are looking at the Shadowcat in its prime Omnipod set, and we're doing a Reprime build, which is where we only use that Omnipod set because the first time you gain access to a mech, you only have its Omnipod loadout of prime. So we can't do something crazy with other Omnipod sets in conjunction with the prime, mixing and matching, because all we have is the prime. So before we do that, camo pattern, just as a refresher in case anybody at all was curious, I use the Invasion and then I customize it to have a bit of a gray and a red stripe. This feels very Smoke Jaguar to me, that's why I do it, and it's kind of my signature style that I use for my mechs. I've done this ever since we had access to this Invasion, Camo Spec, and Clan Mechs in MechWarrior Online. So, with that said, let's edit the loadout. Now this thing comes with a Gauss rifle and 2 ER medium lasers. Not a bad loadout. However, we can do, in my opinion, a little bit better, although heat generation will be a bit of a factor here. And we are just utilizing the prime Omnipod set to do it. So I stripped all of the equipment out that we can. Mask is not something we can remove out there. It's fixed in there. It's considered integral to the chassis itself, so we can't remove the mask, unfortunately, so we can't do anything with the center torso. The head has no extra space either. Not surprising. They don't always tend to. And the legs, we can't do anything else either because this also has jump jets. So we have speed in general, enhanced speed with mask temporarily, and then we have jump jets. So this thing is pretty maneuverable. We don't put anything in the right arm because it's all ballistic, and I like energy, and we can put energy in 2 different spots, and my favorite energy weapon by far is the PPC, with the ER PPC of the clans being my favorite. This is an extended range particle projector cannon. This is an energy based weapon with recoil. It's pretty cool. In any case, we put one in the left torso, or not the left torso, left arm. I don't know why I thought torso. And we put one in the right torso, because that's where we can. We have no need for ammunition, so nothing to worry about there. Instead, what I did do is I added armor everywhere I could. I didn't add an extra heat sink. You probably could have, but I really wanted to make this mech more survivable, and we'll just have to be a bit more disciplined in our fire to avoid overheating, right? Which this mech isn't going to instantly overheat or anything, but heating is a factor. So here we have a full-on ton of extra armor on the left arm, and we also added a half-ton armor pod as well. So we get pretty good extra front armor and rear armor to boot for that. The left torso, we added in a ton and a half of armor as well, because if you lose the left torso, we lose that left arm, and I definitely don't want to lose that arm. Can't do anything for the head, the center torso, or the legs, so we put 2 tons of armor into the right torso, because this has our ERPPC. We don't care about the right arm, really. We want the ERPPC to stick around, so we definitely up the ante in the most important spots for our equipment. This makes this mech tankier. Now, again, it's tankier in the torsos and in the left and right torso and in the left arm. The rest of it will be able to take the same amount of damage you could, but considering we have this extra armor and shots will be going everywhere, not just in one spot all the time, we are tankier. When it comes to weapon groups, we just have weapon group 1 and weapon group 2. No need to have an alpha strike because we don't always need to alpha strike. So weapon group 1, weapon group 2. Pretty straightforward and simple. As you can see, this mech has an armor rating of 460. Not bad. We can definitely get higher in other mechs, but for what this is for a Reprime, that's not bad, especially considering the Shadowcat starts off at 268. which is, you know, it's a medium mech at 45 tons. We shouldn't be expecting miracles here, but we didn't quite double it, but we definitely bumped it up a good amount. So that is very nice. And honestly, if we could remove the mask, I would for even more armor, but we can't do that, and that's totally fine. So that's the build. Pretty straightforward. Let's take it into the shooting range. As far as who can use this, you get this early on in Santander, pretty much. I wouldn't say super early on, but early on enough where you still could do it with anybody. But if you are giving people more than just evasion, then this would be something that's really good for Ezra, for example, because of the energy weapon focus that Ezra tends to have, or not tends to, that does have. But the way I do my pilot experience allocation is evasion first, because I'm bad. So in that regard, it's kind of fair game for anybody. I like to be thematic, however, so I would give this to Ezra. Now, this mech has jump jets, right? So we can jump around. This mech has a decent top speed, but then if we want to go even further beyond, we have mask, and you can tell by the HUD change that we are in mask mode, and we have a speed rating that went up pretty high, and we can disable it. It also increases acceleration, right? So from a dead stop, you know, it takes us a little bit to get to full acceleration, right? You can see on the bar there, we didn't even reach it, but we engage mask, and we just go to 0. Whoop, it's kind of hard. We engage mask, and boom, we have instant full speed just about. Now, too much mask, which is a meter on the side there, will damage your legs, so you want to be careful. With that out of the way, remember, these targets are recruit level AI, so the damage that you're doing won't always be representative of damage you're doing in campaign against certain mechs and certain targets, depending upon the mission. But that's okay. Let's take a shot. We probably could have one-shot it, but I decided to jump and I wasn't really aiming, but we have really good damage there, and it's down. ERPPCs will mess with your HUD if you're close to the target, or if you are the target. So you want to kind of stay further away. That was a pretty good headshot. As you can see, we did a double alpha strike, and our heat got kind of hot. We would have downed that mech even faster, but we did some cockpit hits, so that'll do that. In any case, this mech has a pretty good effective range. I mean, we are 850 meters for its kind of being in effective range, which is really good. So we can go ahead and just fire at these VTOL engines and take them out. It's not a DPS machine, right? We have two pieces of war gear, and they have a cooldown. But I really wish the zoom was better. But there, we just crippled that locust, and we took it out. So again, recruit level AI, I know, but don't discount ERPPCs or having only a couple of weapon systems and some mechs. One thing of note about this, outside of the fact that we have the extra armor and everything, this is what an adder can do. Adder Prime has 2 ERPPCs. So this level of damage output, it's going to be actually a little bit better in the Adder Prime stock configuration if you're just using stock mechs. It also has a targeting computer. However, as you saw in the Adder Prime Reprime that I did, I don't know why I could have said the Adder Reprime. I showed off 2 different configurations, and which is why that video is a little longer. And we didn't keep the targeting computer around. But my point is, we're basically another version of the Adder, but a little bit bigger with jump jets, if you want to think about it that way. It's still a fantastic loadout. Nothing like ERPPCs, in my opinion. And when you consider the fact that the Inner Sphere Assault Mech Thug, which we don't see in this game, and the Assault Mech Awesome make use of multiple PPCs in their Assault Mechs, we are doing pretty good. The Thug has other stuff than ERPPCs, but it has 2. Well, we have 2, and we're much less in the weight category than a Thug. And the Awesome has 3, but we have 2, right? So, I mean, we're doing pretty well for ourselves, I think, in terms of damage. Plus, if given to AI, they're going to stay back further more often because they have no reason to get close. So they'll just stay back and they'll just pick things off. As you can see there, the torso can't hit that high. We just missed it. But the AI will hang back more and fire off the ERPPCs, which is exactly what we want from AI allies. We don't want them in our way. We want them to make use of their effective range. And I missed there somehow, probably because of the zoom. We didn't miss there though. So in any case, this mech is going to be another kind of direct fire support style of mech that has enough armor to withstand things getting danger close, because it can still, you know, disco with them if you want or whatever. I don't know what the kids say these days. But this is the Shadowcat Reprime. Would I keep the Shadowcat like this? Well, I more or less did, more so out of laziness, but you could definitely redo a build once you unlock the Omnipod loadouts for this mech. It only has 2 Omnipod sets to unlock, so you can definitely gain access to all of your customization potential pretty quickly because it only has those 2 configurations to unlock. But outside of that, if you left it just like this, you'd be just fine. Decent armor and good fire support to boot. So I'm pleased with how this is set up, but you could definitely do even better once you get some missions under your belt. So this is an example of a Reprime build that both will get you through your first mission or 2 to get the mech experience you're needing, but equally withstand the test of time and be useful the entire time you're making use of this chassis. So don't rule it out. Anyways, thanks so much for tuning in and stopping by. If you made it to the end of this video, comment the word PPC so I know you made it to the very end. Thanks so much for taking the time out of the day to check it out. And until the next one, take care.